Hey kids, this is Jack. Welcome back to Harmony Point Zoo, my Planet Zoo franchise Let's Play. The first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to apologize. It's been about a week since I put out one of these videos, and the truth is, it was a combination of factors. The first was that I was pretty serious head cold, and my voice just was not up to recording any sort of video at all. The other thing was that I had a little bit of a burnout problem. This is, to be honest, about the fourth time I've recorded a video. The first three times I just gave up halfway because it just wasn't working. You know, the build wasn't coming, there were no ideas flowing, it just wasn't up to the standard that I had set for myself. So I decided that rather than put out a bad video, I'd put out no video at all. Now granted, I'm not the, I openly admit to not being the greatest provider of YouTube content out there, but I at least have some standards that, I meet for myself, and if I'm satisfied, I'll release a video, but if I'm not going to release it at all. So anyway, today what we're going to do is we are going to be building, or at least maybe begin to build, a giant panda habitat. Now, I've got this space here. I laid out some path. I don't know if we're going to use it all. This is, seriously, it's a lot more space than what the giant pandas need. Because here, let me pull this up. Excuse me. Yeah, as you can probably hear, I'm still coughing up the occasional schmutz. Okay, they only need 900 meters. Now, that sounds like a lot, except, let me see if I can't find something. Yeah, this. This is effectively size templates. So you can see how much space. See that? That's 3,200 square meters. 2,000 meters. 5,900. So you compare those. Space there, I've probably got 5,000 square meters here, so I don't need all this space. But let's see what we can do with it. As always, I'm going to start with null barriers. I do have an idea in my head, and I'm hoping that it works. It's inspired. I'm not going to say I'm going to try and make a duplicate of, but it is inspired by the panda habitat found at a zoo in Tokyo. If you'd asked me 5 minutes ago what the name of this zoo was, I would have been able to tell you, but right now, all I can tell you is that I remember that the name begins with a U. And this is sad. I mean, I don't want to say that I'm getting old, but I looked up this zoo not 20 minutes ago, and I can't remember the name of the zoo anymore. I mean, how pathetic is that, huh? Anyway, like I said, it's roughly based on this zoo design, so it's not going to be exact, but it is, in my opinion, a pretty good design, so I'm going to base it off of that. It's given me inspiration. But I'm, like I said, I'm not going to try and copy it. Mostly I'm just taking it as, this is a good idea, let's run with it. A little inspiration for the look. Hopefully I'll be able to get the build right. Alright. That is bound to be enough space. Yeah, it's more than enough. It only need the pandas only need 900 square meters, and this is 1,164. That's more than enough space. So, in fact, let me do this. We'll find a use for this corner somehow. First thing I want to do, of course, is play with the terrain a little. Whoops, that's way too big. Oh my lord, way too big, way too big. Let's try that. Now, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not planning on making any mountains here. But a nice hill would be good. A nice hill. Because what I want is, whoa, that's not what I want. Here. Since we're building over here, I'm going to go ahead and take that out. We haven't put the animals in or anything, so it's not like they can escape. And we're just going to raise the terrain a little. On this side. Just enough to give it a little elevation. Whoops. Let me pause this. I hope you guys saw that. Basically, my tiger's had a baby. And now the baby's all grown up. And now that the baby's all grown up, he wants to be king of the hill, except that's daddy right there. Alyosha's the daddy. And this is the young man, Gavril. This is the young man that we're going to have to unfortunately send away. Bye-bye, Gavril. Enjoy your life in the wild. Now, I'm going to go ahead and leave it paused for the rest of the build, just so we don't continually get interrupted. Where was I? I remember where I was. Okay. Slightly bigger. Say take it to 5. Because I want the entire, basically the entire back part of the exhibit to be a hill. Except this. And of course we'll smooth over the landscape a little so it doesn't so it's not quite so severe, because we're also going to do this number. Let's take it down to 3 and okay. Alright, and I removed the barrier for a reason. That's because I want to make this a little more, bring this a little closer to the path. Naturally, the presence of the path is going to cause, problems with dropping the elevation like that. But that's okay, that's okay. We will deal with it. Now, I'm not going to bring it all the way across. More like that. Jesus. Can't seem to clear my throat. Alright, so I've taken a drink of water. I'm hoping that'll help. Alright. Let's just go ahead and take it all out. Now you're probably wondering why I've been bouncing around. It's because, Jesus, I apologize for all the coughing, folks. Like I said, I've been sick and I am still bringing up gunk. And I hate when I'm bringing up gunk, but, you know, it's nothing I can control. So. All right. something like that. Because what we're going to do next is, and I'm going to have to unpause the game for just a second here when I finish this. What I want, what you want. Sorry, I warned you guys that I do that, and it's the truth. I do. You know, I will be talking and suddenly my head goes, oh hey, that's a song reference. Why don't you sing? And I can't help it. I naturally start singing. Which isn't, 100% cool, but there it is. All right. Now, let me double check on something here. They are Temperate and Taiga. So, let's go get some rocks. Now, a good friend of mine, who shall remain nameless, but she knows who she is, has challenged me to use fewer blueprints. Now, my policy is use blueprints if you want. I've used blueprints a lot, but she says, and I quote, that I'm a better builder than I think, and that I need to start showing people that. So I'm taking up her challenge. By basically, I'm going to be doing everything in this habitat from scratch. Hopefully it'll work out. One hopes it works out. We shall see. Like I said, I'm not gonna name her, because she says, and the other thing that she said, and I quote, is the other YouTubers don't need the publicity. Now, I don't think she's got a YouTube channel of her own. She's a very talented Planet Zoo player, and I love collaborating on her. Gee, that doesn't sound... I meant collaborating with her, thank you. And, we collaborated on a couple of zoos. And she's amazingly talented, and she's got this great vision for what she wants, and she can put that vision into play really well. And I learned a lot collaborating with her, to be brutally honest. And there goes my voice again. But, and she knows what she's talking about, and she's given me good advice, and I've got no real reason to not follow her advice. So, here we go. So I'm going to start doing a lot more from scratch stuff. Not that I haven't abandoned the rather large collection of the rather large collection of blueprints that I have in the back of this zoo. It's just, I'm going to start doing more stuff for myself. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. How's that look, folks? That look great? I think that looks great. Okay, now, let's put the barrier back. All right. Now, something I do know is that pandas are apparently amazingly chill animals in zoos. Except when they're not. And when they're not, they're abruptly very not. It's like they've got two settings. Complete and total chill and suddenly dying of stress. Which is part of the reason why they're, you know, they're difficult to keep. But, you know, we've been getting better as humans, I mean, not like that I've got a panda hidden somewhere. But humans have been getting better and better at keeping a lot of them. But then, you know, they're just one of those animals that it's difficult to keep happy in the wild. Or not the wild, but the wild. Listen to me. I'm an idiot. Yeah, but it's just one of those animals that it's hard to keep happy in a zoo. For whatever reason. Alright. Okay. It's flatter than I like, but it's okay. You know what? I think there's just a touch. You look, there's just a touch. We're just gonna... That's a little deeper than I wanted. That's okay. It's the strength of the terrain tool. Alright. Now, excuse me. I haven't decided about plants yet. I'm still thinking about it. I have a general image in my head, but I haven't actually done anything with it. So we're going to play around with it later. But the first thing I wanted to do was this. I know what I... You know what? Why don't I just... There. I know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to run the barrier right to the edge of the hill. Like so. That's a little bit further in than I wanted, so back this up to that. And you'll see why shortly. You'll see why shortly. Okay. Alright. Now, I've thought long and hard about this part. And I decided that what I'm going to do... Now, we've got two choices when it comes to Asian walls. We've got this, which is the... What is it? The dry stone wall. We've got that. Looks kind of dark, but it's pretty impressive. Makes good castles, I think. But what I've decided what we're going to use is we are going to use... Where is it? Oh, come on. I had it here just a moment. We're going to use stone brick. I just think it looks better. See? Looks cleaner. So anyway. So there. Let's see. Oh, there goes the sun. Puts the Beatles in my head. All right. an eye on this. It may be that we are going to have to finish this in 2 videos. This might actually take 2 videos. And if so, fine. So be it, as they used to say. Now, alright, now this hill, as you can see, is not a straight line, and that's a good thing, because as everybody who knows me and has been talking to me previously to my starting the channel, I used to be the king of the box habitat. You know what I mean. I was lots of squares, lots of rectangles. Boy, was it boring as crap. It was, and so I'm trying to get away from it now. It's going to involve a little bit of a straight line because I'm trying to put this wall across the back of the enclosure, and let's just do this for now. And I'm trying to have it along the back of the hill, so I'm thinking maybe that the back of the enclosure is going to be a little bit of a straight line, or at least a series of straight lines, sort of like this. And that's fine. The front, on the other hand, I'm going to try and do my best to, to figure that out so that it's not quite so boxy. And I have an idea, and I think I can make it work. I think I can make it work. I think I can make it work is the engineering, according to an engineer friend of mine, I think I can make it work is the engineering equivalent to hold my beer. So we shall see what we shall see. Come on, come on. Here you go. Boom. All right. Okay. Like I said, it's going to be a series of straight lines instead of just one big box. And I'm doing it again. I'm falling quiet when I'm concentrating. I hate when I do that, don't you? Anyway, so I actually have seen the back when, boy, the first time that the People's Republic of China gave us a mating pair of giant pandas for the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. I was, oh geez, I think 15, and we went to Washington. Me and my family went to Washington on a family vacation. We saw all the museums, we saw the National Zoo, we went to several of the monuments. It was all very inspirational and very wonderful. And I had a great time, but I remember, I have clear memories of the National Zoo, and man, was it impressive. Let's lower the grid size here, because what I want to do is something along those lines. And and it was, oh man, the National Zoo was just impressive. If you've never been, you really should. At least if you're not if you're in the United States. If you're not in the United States and you're visiting the United States and you're going to go to Washington, D.C., which is, hey, it's a pretty good tourist destination because it's got history and culture and one of the most amazing zoos I have ever seen. I mean, that was the zoo that I got to hold a Madagascar hissing cockroach, which was longer than my index finger. And they just put it in my hand. Here I am, a 15-year-old kid, and they put this gigantic bug in my hand, and it doesn't bite, doesn't do anything. It just kind of sits there, and I'm like, I've got this creature in my hand, and it was just impressive. And if you've never enjoyed this, if you've never had that pleasure, if you've never had that privilege of doing something like that, you should. I encourage everybody to visit zoos. I have a long list. Oh my lord, my bucket list of zoos that I want to visit before I die has got to be 60, 70 zoos long. I'll never, I'll never be able to do it. Doesn't mean I don't want to. Doesn't mean I don't want to. But I'll never be able to do it. I acknowledge that I'll never be able to do it because, I just don't have the time, nor do I have the resources, because I want to go see, I want to go see some of the zoos in Holland. I want to see the Royal Zoo in England. There's an absolutely fantastic, as I mentioned earlier, there's an absolutely fantastic zoo in Tokyo that I never got a chance to visit when I was in Tokyo. I mean, how sad is that? That, I was actually in Tokyo and I never had a chance to visit the zoo because, other things were going on. So yeah, it's like a bucket list. It's a bucket list, and I admit it. Now, let me find out about one other thing. Wrong button. Okay, they need climb-proof fence, 6 to 6.5 feet. Yeah. So, okay. But even if all you've got, if you don't have access to the big zoos, the big famous zoos, if you have a local zoo, go see them. Find out what they're about. We have several in my area. We've got a couple. Now, granted, one of them is actually a Disney park. I'm not that far away from Disney's Animal Kingdom. And everybody's like, but it's a theme park. And I'm like, yeah, but first, it's a zoo. It's like we also have Busch Gardens in Tampa. And I went to Busch Gardens recently with my family. There's a video on my channel that details out the Busch Gardens trip. And I can't tell you how much fun we had. Just looking at the animals, going around looking at the animals. We went to Busch Gardens, and Busch Gardens has some of the world's most remarkable roller coasters on it. We didn't go to any roller coasters. We went for the animals. We went for the South African penguins, which are a warm weather species. They don't live on the snow and the ice. They live in they live in the regular coastlines of South Africa. And they live in the warm. How many times are you going to find penguins that don't live on the ice? Don't live anywhere near the ice. And my local zoo, one of my local zoos, just happens to be a theme park, has them. So by all means, go see your local zoos. Support them. They're doing their best. We had a zoo in Tallahassee when I was living in North Florida, and every animal that they had, every animal on display was native to Florida. And I thought that was such a great thing because it turns out there's a lot of animals that are found here in Florida where I live that aren't found anywhere else in the world. And then there's a whole other group of of animals that are found here in Florida, and they're also found in the rest of the southern United States, or they're found in the Caribbean, Caribbean, however you want to, and thus, they're unusual when it comes to other parts of the United States. People who live in the north where it snows aren't going to see these animals. I was talking to a bunch of people the other day. I had, I had an idea once for a DLC pack for Planet Zoo, and it was animals of the southern United States. I mean, we've got, you know, technically a lot of the Arctic animals are also North American animals, but they're first Arctic animals, which means you can find them, you know, you don't just find them in the northern reaches of the United States or North America. You find them in Europe, you find them in Asia, you know, they're all over just in the Arctic. But I was thinking an actual pack for the United States, and there's, you know, lots of biomes here in the United States. The United States is a huge country. A lot of people who live in smaller countries, Europe especially, I've had this conversation with Europeans. They have trouble grasping just how big the United States is. Although I've never had that problem with Russians, I have to admit. You know, but I'll talk to, say, a tourist from France, and they'll talk about wanting to go to New Orleans, and you know, they're like, do you know how to get to New Orleans? You know what route I should take? And I said, yeah, sure, I can give you directions to New Orleans. And he goes, good, because I want to go. You know, he's in Florida, and he says, I want to go to New Orleans for the weekend. And I'm like, dude, you'll spend the entire weekend just driving to New Orleans, because, you know, New Orleans is 500 miles away. So anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, it's a big country, the United States, and we've got a lot of biomes. You know, you can find every biome on Earth. It can be found within the borders of the United States: Arctic, desert, taiga, tundra. You know, you want swamps, we got swamps. You want deserts, you want mountains, we've got those too. And so there's a wide range of animals available in the United States, and that's just North America. And of course, when you're talking North America, you also have to talk Canada and Mexico. But I was thinking with this DLC pack that we could do animals of the southeastern United States, which is why I keep bringing up the United States. And among the animals that I mentioned was the alligator snapping turtle. I think it would make a great addition to the game. And someone said, well, wouldn't that just be an exhibit species? And I'm like, oh, dude, no. Alligator snapping turtle, the largest in captivity that, you know, they do pretty well in captivity. And the largest specimen ever in captivity here in the United States weighed close to 250 pounds and was 1.5 meters across, or 1.5 meters long. You know, these are apex predators. The only thing they have to fear, honestly, in nature, the only thing they have to fear once they're adults is humans. They don't even have to fear alligators, and they share a habitat with alligators. You know, these beasts are huge and impressive animals, and I think they'd be a great addition to the game. And, you know, there were other things. The key deer. The thing that I love about the key deer, for example, is that it's tiny. It's about the size of, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen a white-tailed deer. White-tailed deers are full-fledged antelope, and they're kind of large animals. You know, they're as big as any other deer or antelope species. But the key deer, on the other hand, is about the size of your average German Shepherd or Alsatian or Rottweiler even. They're relatively small deer. Anyway, believe it or not, we're out of time. I almost got this wall done. That's okay, though. I'm just going to place these last two pieces before I call it a day. Folks, by all means, when you're out and about, please be safe. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm trying to think of what I normally say in the outro. I don't like being repetitive, but you can't help it sometimes. Be safe, be kind. If you liked what I'm doing here, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. Both really help me out. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm not in it for the money. This is a hobby, so it doesn't, in the end, it's not going to hurt me if I don't become big. It's just, better things come. And I appreciate having the audience. So, this is the start of the Panda Habitat. Yes, I know it's not complete. It's got plenty of room for the pandas. Oh, hey, we've got high amounts of litter. I will handle that off camera. It's going to have plenty of room for the pandas. We're going to have I'm going to put one-way glass in these holes. And next episode we'll place the animals and we will see about decorating this habitat and turning it into something that I think is going to be absolutely wonderful. And the other thing that you guys are going to get to see is just how good my skills are at building. In any case, have a good day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.